Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. President Gershon, I declare that all are assembled and in order for the Northeast Ohio Medical University 2018 commencement ceremony. Good morning to everyone assembled here today. My name is Dr. Faiz Safadi, and as a member of the Northeast Ohio Medical University community, I extend a warm welcome to the alumni, faculty, staff, students, board of trustees, foundation board, family members, and friends who join us for today's celebration, the 38th commencement ceremony of our university. I would like to welcome and introduce the members of the stage party who will not be speaking or participating in the hooding of students today. I will ask each person to stand as his or her name is called. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. From the Board of Trustees, Paul Bishop, Vice Chair, Joseph Halter Jr., Dr. Chandler Coley, Richard McQueen, Philip Trueblood, and Carl Allenby. From the University Administration, Richard Lewis, Secretary to the Board of Trustees and Vice President for External Affairs. Michelle Mulhern, Executive Director, Administration and Associate Board Secretary. John Ray, Vice President for Administration and Finance. Maria Scheimer, General Counsel. Carolyn Linier, Chief of Staff and Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And from our colleges, Dr. Joseph Zarconi, Senior Associate Dean for the College of Medicine. Dr. Eugene Moad, Senior Associate Dean for the College of Medicine. And Dr. Chris Ritter, Vice Dean for the College of Graduate Studies. Thank you. Please be seated. I now have the privilege of introducing our president, Dr. Jay Gershon.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Safadi, for serving as Grand Marshal for today's ceremony. I must also thank our peers, our distinguished faculty members, who each share a role in a successful graduation of our students today. This university would not enjoy its reputation for excellence without your talents and your commitment. Would all members of the faculty please stand, if able, and be recognized. And now, will everybody please stand, if able, for the National Anthem. Gentlemen, if appropriate, please remove your hats. Please be seated. Welcome to all on this joyous occasion as we celebrate the accomplishments of today's graduates who have given their all to make this day possible. Thank you, family. Thank you, friends. Thank you, faculty and staff. Thank you, alumni, donors, board members, and community partners for all of your support. We know that today's graduates thank you as well. And to our graduates, in each of the hundreds of people who are here today, there lies a human experience for which you have been trained via reflective practice sessions, community experiences, medical interviewing, patient history taking, ethics, and humanities to better understand that human personal element. On a day in which we all convene to celebrate and watch the conferral of degrees to 221 amazing graduates, we choose to focus on the important theme of humanities and healthcare. For each of you will draw from your experiences to better understand the circumstances of others and to enhance your interactions as healthcare professionals. So I would like to share with you an excerpt of my experience that is relevant. One day, 31 years ago, at the age of 41, I was out jogging, and as I was jogging, I felt some tingling in my fingertips. I knew this was not normal. Being a professor at UCLA, I visited a colleague at the medical center who was an interventional cardiologist. After 30 seconds on the treadmill, he rushed me down to his lab, performed an angiogram, and informed me that I had a spontaneous dissection of the right coronary artery, a condition associated with stress. I went into the operating room, not knowing if I'd ever see my 5-year-old child again or ever meet my unborn child. So 2 weeks after surgery, I was recuperating at home, and I received a call from the surgical nurse. She said, Dr. Gershon, how are you today? And I said, well, considering everything, I'm doing pretty good. And she said, I bet I know where you are right now. I bet you're sitting at your desk. And I said, how do you know that? And she said, I know the type. What's on your desk, she said. I said, just a bunch of work papers. Actually, it's my life's work. She asked me to pick up a piece of paper and tell her what it was. I protested, and she said, no, this is doctor's orders. Pick up a piece of paper and tell me what it is. So I picked up the first piece of paper, and it was a lecture I was supposed to deliver in several weeks. What else, she said. Here's a book chapter I have to write, she said. I went on through 40 or more pieces of paper, relying and relaying my life's work to her. This took over an hour, and I was exhausted. She said to me, you're a pretty busy guy, aren't you? That has to be 3 or 4 months worth of work. I said, oh no, it's about 3 or 4 years worth of work. And she says, here's what I want you to do. This is doctor's orders. You call your assistant at UCLA, where I worked, and go through the stack of papers on your desk, just as you did with me, with one difference. For each paper, you tell your assistant who to delegate it to or who to call to say you can't do it. I protested again. She reminded me this was doctor's orders. So I called Leslie at UCLA. Leslie, here's a lecture I have to give. Please ask Dr. Marcus to give it for me. Here's a book chapter I have to write. Please call the editor and say I can't do it. I went on with Leslie for another hour and a half, going through the 40 pieces of paper on my desk. So now I was into this 2.5 hours. I was dripping with perspiration. I was exhausted. I sat back in my chair and said to myself, this doctor is a genius. The entire weight of responsibility of everything I had to do was taken off my shoulders. I sat there with a smile on my face, and suddenly and unexpectedly, after 20 minutes, I was never more depressed in my entire life. I said to myself, if I can give my entire job away in 2.5 hours, what the heck have I been doing with my life? The experience was life-changing as I lost 40 pounds, took up cycling, and began to spend a lot more time with my family and friends. Graduates, please don't wait for your version of my spontaneous dissection. Be proud of your accomplishments, strive for excellence, be all you can be in your professional lives. Be dedicated to your patients, but also put balance in your life. Spend quality time with your loved ones, many of whom are in the audience today. Please take care of yourselves. Now please join me in welcoming our Board of Trustees Chair, whose 38 years in risk management, advocating for employee benefits, insurance, and healthcare reform have provided him with human experiences from which he established a framework for building trustful relationships. Please welcome Mr. Robert Klunk.
Thanks, Dr. Gershon. To all, I won't take up too much of your time today, as today is all about you. I really just want to congratulate all of you and your families for the commitment that it took to get to this much-deserved day. I got involved with NEOMED nearly 5 years ago because I felt that all people should have access to quality health care. As someone who leads a risk management and insurance firm, our job is to reduce risk for our customers. And of course, the lower the risk, the lower the cost. Some might say it's like golf. You minimize the risks to realize a quality low score. Based on how I played yesterday, I do not do that very well. But I can tell you that that analogy often ends there. Unfortunately, the ultimate risk of premature death doesn't always seem to incentivize people. The one thing that works, though, that compels people to reduce risks in their lives, that works more than any threat or consequence, is a desire to change and the appropriate assistance and guidance from their doctors and pharmacists. In my business, it begins by encouraging employee groups to have relationships with our healthcare professionals, and then supporting these relationships by working with healthcare professionals to improve experiences with the patients. We have to build trust throughout that relationship. What we found is that people are afraid of the payer-to-provider processes, trying to find a doctor, navigating the system, wondering how claims work, paying their co-pays, until finally they decide it's easier not to go. As a relationship guy, I will tell you that what we need most is trust. And that trust is built through person-to-person engagement. I like technology, and I don't want to sound old school, but we need to build that trust face-to-face before we go screen to screen by using social and other digital platforms. As much as I like the advances in technology, such as telemedicine, you should look someone in the eye to get to know them first, and shake their hands before you give them a fist bump. For the first time in 25 years, the U.S. life expectancy rate has declined. While it is due to several reasons, including social determinants and public health concerns, you all have a unique opportunity to do something about it. Embrace the opportunity and start your careers as healthcare professionals by getting to know your patients and treating them with empathy. That's the only way to build trust, to let them know you truly care about them, to get them to not just care about the risks, but to do something about it and embrace the incentive of life. Thank you. It is my pleasure now to introduce you to someone who has spent more than a half a century building relationships, earning trust, and treating patients with respect and dignity. I call to the podium Charter Dean of Northeast Ohio Medical University and today's honorary degree recipient, Dr. Robert Liebelt. I also invite our former president and dean of the College of Medicine, Dr. Lois Margaret Nora, and our current vice president for Health Affairs and College of Medicine, Dean Dr. Elizabeth Young, and associate dean of the College of Medicine, Dr. Joseph Zarconi. Both Dr. Young and Dr. Zarconi are Liebelt mentees. And I now invite our president, Dr. Jay Gershon, to tell you more about his achievements.
Thank you, Mr. Klunk. Mahatma Gandhi once wrote, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." More than 7 decades ago, Robert A. Liebelt began his service for all of us. At the age of 17, when most are thinking about high school graduation, going to college, or finding themselves in a trade, Robert Liebelt was serving in the South Pacific Ocean as a turret gunner in the U.S. Navy during World War II. At such a young age, he had already served his country, helped to save our world, and perhaps humanity. Yet upon his return home as a young veteran, he wasn't done. He went on to earn his BS degree from Loyola University in Chicago and his MS degree in zoology from Washington State University, both with honors. He had plans for zoology, but was convinced by one of the faculty members to enter medical school. This was the height of the baby boom, and the demand was high for healthcare professionals. With the help of a veteran's scholarship, he enrolled at the University of Illinois College of Medicine in Chicago, and later transferred to Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas. Armed with an MD and a PhD, again, both with honors, Robert Liebelt, the gunner, became Dr. Robert Liebelt. Dr. Liebelt taught anatomy and conducted research with inbred strains of mice at Baylor. And in 1961, he became chair of anatomy. During his time as a professor in Baylor College of Medicine, he was voted the outstanding basic science teacher to medical students for 10 consecutive years. He later joined the Medical College of Georgia, where he was named the Associate Dean of Medicine. Dr. Liebelt was the college's first recipient of the Distinguished Faculty Award, and just 1 year later was appointed the first provost for the Colleges of Medicine, Dentistry, Nursing, and Allied Sciences. Fortunately, Dr. Liebelt wasn't done yet, and in 1974, some 30 years after serving our country, he helped found and served as charter dean for Northeast Ohio Medical University. He was promoted 5 years later and instrumental in securing accreditation for the school. Upon leaving his position as dean, he continued on as a professor of anatomy, lecturing on human embryology while treating patients at St. Thomas Hospital in Akron. After 25 years, he treated some 16,000 patients and wrote 3 books on alcoholism. Dr. Liebelt also served as Associate Director of Medical Education at Summa Health System, where he worked with the medical students and the residents, teaching them the problems of treatments of substance abuse disorders until 2013. In 2016, he was awarded the Distinguished Physicians Award at Summa and the Life Achievement Award at NEOMED. Still serving others at the age of 91, Dr. Liebelt maintains an office at Summa Akron City Hospital. Therefore, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the State of Ohio Department of Higher Education, I award Dr. Robert A. Liebelt the honorary degree, Doctor of Science honoris causa, in recognition of his unbridled spirit, commitment and contributions to the health and wellness of us all, his significant role in advancing NEOMED and our students, and his transcendent service to humankind. What a great man. In choosing today's commencement speaker, I wanted someone with whom the students could relate. People have different ideas of what makes a great commencement speaker. Some want the warmth exuded by a person who focuses solely on the student experience. Others prefer a person of impressive achievement who can inspire them. I wanted someone who understands the path that has brought each student here, as well as the path that lies ahead for them. It is my pleasure to call to the podium my colleague and friend, Dr. Stephen Wortman, who is today's commencement speaker. In 2005, Dr. Stephen A. Wortman has been president of the AAHC, which is the Association of Academic Health Centers, a nonprofit association based in Washington, D.C. The AAHC supports biomedical research, it writes white papers, and holds annual meetings that bring together thought leaders from Congress, think tanks, academic health centers, and advocacy groups. Prior to assuming his current position, he was Executive Vice President for Academic and Health Affairs and Dean of the School of Medicine at the University of Texas Health Science Center in San Antonio. An internist and a sociologist, Dr. Wortman is board certified in internal medicine and a master of the American College of Physicians. He received his AB from Cornell University and his MD and PhD degrees from Johns Hopkins University. During his time at Johns Hopkins, he was named a Robert Wood Johnson Clinical Scholar and a Henry Luce Scholar in Indonesia. Dr. Wortman has received numerous awards and honorary degrees, including the 2005 Johns Hopkins School of Medicine Distinguished Medical Alumnus Award. He has been recognized internationally for his work in the organization and management of academic health centers, where he has taken the lead on critical issues such as the need for alignment among the institution's clinical, research, and educational programs. To foster these ideas, he has founded many programs and institutions, including the AAHC International, the AAHC Thought Leaders Institute, which provides in-depth views and analysis of issues transforming 21st century medicine. An accomplished author and editor, Dr. Wortman has edited health publications such as Confluence of Policy and Leadership in Academic Health Science Centers. As the editor of Transformation of Academic Health Centers, Dr. Wortman invited NEOMED to write the chapter on diversity. NEOMED is a member of the AAHC, and it's while serving on the AAHC board that I work closely with Dr. Wortman and appreciated his contributions to health professions education, healthcare delivery, and health policy. Dr. Wortman will be retiring as president of the AAHC next month after 13 years of outstanding service to our nation. I am honored that he chose NEOMED as his final official act. Please join me in welcoming today's keynote speaker, Dr. Stephen Wortman.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gershon, President Gershon. I really appreciate your kind remarks, and they mean a lot to me. Members of the Board of Trustees and the leadership team, the platform party, faculty, family members, and friends, and of course, the class of 2018. It is a great honor for me to come before you today on the occasion of this distinguished institution's commencement. You know, I have many, many thoughts in interacting with the graduates prior to coming on the stage and looking out upon you today. You're a very diverse group, and you represent 3 colleges: medicine, pharmacy, and graduate studies. I know how hard you have worked to be where you are today, and you probably have had the usual ups and downs during the course of your education, but now you can enjoy today the glow of your real accomplishment. But as mentioned earlier, there are so many others that also deserve our thanks: the school's leaders, teachers, and staff. And let's not forget those who have supported you along the way: families, spouses, partners, and friends. Let's just give them a round of applause. Now, my talk today is tempered by the realization that beginning immediately after I finish and lasting a lifetime, no one will remember who the commencement speaker was. But I am reminded of something attributed to Maya Angelou. She said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." So I aspire today to leave a message with you that you will feel throughout your career. And that message is aligned directly with the theme of this year's commencement: humanities and healthcare. And it is relevant whether you are in direct patient care, in health-related education or research, or in some form of healthcare administration. My message to you is simple, but in the course of a busy professional life, it could get lost. It is the importance of remembering the suffering of those who are ill. Hold that thought. I'll get back to it. I'd also like to offer you some relief with the assurance that I will follow the 3 B's of commencement speaking, as told to me by my late friend and university president, Andrew Sorensen. Be to the point, be brief, and be seated. Now to my address. Arguably, medicine, science, and healthcare are undergoing the fastest and most significant changes in their history. Let's take a moment to look backward and forward. When I graduated from medical school, roughly 1,000 years ago, the world that I worked in as a resident, fellow, and eventually faculty member was so different in so many respects from what it is today. Can you imagine a world without personal computers, cell phones, or the internet? Can you? Admitting patients to the hospital back then often included, in addition to those who were acutely ill, patients whose blood pressures or blood sugars were just a little bit out of whack, or maybe they needed a routine GI study. Of course, we would never admit these patients today. Our hospitals have essentially become fast-paced, rapid turnover ICUs. But it never really occurred to me, as I was going through my education and training, how different medicine might become over the course of my career. I'm not really sure why I didn't think about it, probably because I was so caught up in what I was doing that I really didn't have any idea about what changes might be coming down the pike. But today we are constantly hearing and thinking about the future, a future driven by great leaps of technology, which I believe will fundamentally reshape medicine and science. And the tech gurus tell us that the changes to come will be exponential in scope, such that the next 30 years will witness faster and even more dramatic changes than the past 30. Now let's see. 32 years from now will be the year 2050, when most of you will still be practicing your profession. What might it be like for you compared to today? A recent book I read provided an interesting perspective on the changes we are experiencing. The authors commented that we are undergoing the profound shift from a print-based industrial society to a technology-based internet society. And the major driver of these changes has been described as the fourth industrial revolution, following steam, electricity, and computers. A key feature of this revolution is something called the Technologic Convergence, which involves the integration of a whole range of different technologies into a common platform. Big data, artificial intelligence, robotics, sensors, 3D printing, crowdsourcing, nanotechnology. I could go on and on, many, many, many more, all converging and working together to create a vast and I think still somewhat uncertain infrastructure. By working together, these technologies have the potential to provide you with real-time information about patients, along with the latest scientific findings to quickly inform patient care and research. Data that is collated, organized, and managed using artificially intelligent platforms. So it seems to me, when you think about it, as a result of this new techniques and technologic convergence, a new and different ecology of healthcare is being created. And this new ecology of healthcare is being led by four fundamental transitions that we can all anticipate and expect. First, a transition already underway from healthcare to self-care. Patients going online, not just for advice, but eventually for diagnosis, referral, and self-management. Second, a transition from visit care, going to doctor's offices, etc., to virtual care. For example, Kaiser Permanente in Northern California has reported that 40% of all physician encounters are now virtual, and that is growing. Third, a transition from in-person care in hospitals and offices to a wider range of settings, such as retail clinics and hospital-at-home models. And fourth and last, a transition stimulated by the growing field of precision medicine, in which medical care becomes customized to optimize therapeutic benefit for a particular individual or select groups of patients using tools such as genetic and molecular profiling. And I think this particular transition speaks to a highly individualized form of healthcare that will increasingly rely on interdependent teams of health professionals using large data sets and sophisticated computer algorithms. That's a lot to expect of the future. And while these transitions open up important new avenues and techniques for healthcare and scientific research, they are also creating the potential for something wonderful, and that is the development of a true learning healthcare system, where every patient and every scientific development informs care and treatment in real time. So it is clear to me that the fourth industrial revolution is bringing deep changes to the role and scope of the health professions and the directions of scientific research. Something that will bring me shortly to my theme, if you remember, remembering the suffering of those who are ill. Of course, there are many, many other forces that will impact the healthcare of the future, forces such as the marketplace and, of course, politics. But would you agree with me that it's best not to try to make any predictions on those points? But the somewhat predictable transitions I've described have important implications for what you will be doing, whether directly interacting with patients and clients, educating students, helping run healthcare organizations, or conducting research. Consider, for example, the observation that the amount of medical information is already much too large to be mastered by a single health professional. And of course, this information is growing daily. The result is important because each day the caregiver becomes less the exclusive bearer of medical and scientific knowledge, something that for millennia has been the hallmark and strength and basis of trust of the health professions. Less exclusive the bearer of medical and scientific knowledge. How does this change impact your role as a caregiver when machines and occasionally patients know more than you do? It seems to me that a new paradigm for healthcare is being created, something that would amaze and certainly disorient the historical greats, all the way back to Hippocrates to Osler. And this new paradigm, in my opinion, demands that those of us in the healthcare fields become expert at some new and some older skills. First, let's begin with the newer skills. Number one, sophisticated mathematical, mainly statistical skills will be necessary to understand and communicate effectively to patients the meaning of probabilities that will be generated by these new computer algorithms. The analyses of these smart computers of thousands of data points for a single patient, including not just blood tests and imaging, but also information coming directly from the patient's bodies using wearables or insidables, will produce a series of probabilities, such as this patient has an 81% chance of having this diagnosis or a 61% chance of responding to this treatment. As one author has described this, the new tools for tailoring treatment will demand a greater tolerance for uncertainty and a greater facility for calculating and interpreting probabilities than we have been traditionally used to as physicians and patients. Second new skill, learning how best to work with machines. As pointed out by one futurist, medicine and machines and systems will work alongside the caregivers as partners. Human professionals, he says, will have to come to terms with the need occasionally to defer to the superior capability of machines. I always ask this question, are we going to be managing the machines or are they going to be managing us? Think about that because I know where I stand on that answer. You might wonder at this point if you are prepared for all these new developments. Well, I'm confident that you will be prepared because of your already demonstrated abilities in self-learning and technologic adoption. You're good at that, so you will be prepared. And I don't want you to lose sight of this most important observation. You will have the privilege of working in the most exciting time in the history of medicine and science. I'm going to say that again. The most exciting time in the history of medicine and science. Wow. Science will further unlock the mysteries of biology with new insights into disease and aging. And those of you engaged in research will investigate areas that were unimaginable just a few years ago. Highly effective and individualized therapies on an unprecedented scale will become available with the result of enhancing health and well-being. And those of you going into healthcare administration will have to figure out how to make all this work in an efficient and effective manner. I also believe something very important as well. I believe that solutions will be found to solve the insidious problem of health disparities, perhaps on even a global scale, using new and affordable technologies. When you look, for example, at the adoption of smartphones around the world, in all different cultures and all different income brackets, as that smartphone becomes a healthcare tool, we have the ability, I think, to improve global health and well-being. But there are other duties and skills we must consider. Here are some of the older skills that I think we need to be especially attentive to. It's very common at ceremonies and graduations to talk about health professionals' duties to their patients. We affirm that we will do our best to provide our patients with honest and appropriate care, and above all, do no harm. You're all familiar with that. but there are other duties and skills we must consider. My first message is to always remember that patients are your most important teachers. Beyond the medical literature, colleagues, grand rounds, artificial intelligence, or the growing virtual world of knowledge. It is through learning from patients that you become the best clinicians and researchers you can be. Because of this, I believe that every working day you owe each and every patient your gratitude and respect. I urge those of you doing lab-based research to reflect regularly on how this work might impact patient care one day, and to talk occasionally about your work with clinicians, and that your work, no matter how basic, is ultimately directed to improve health and well-being. My second message brings me to what I want you to feel good about, if you remember what I said about Maya Angelou earlier. The importance of remembering the suffering of those who are ill. This actually was the famous mythologist Joseph Campbell's definition of compassion in medicine. And I believe it is this skill of compassion that may be the most important of all in the coming era of technology-enhanced healthcare. A famous computer scientist reflected 40 years ago that there are some things people come to know only as a consequence of having been treated as human beings by other human beings. And the writer Anatole Broyard put it another way. Not every patient can be saved, but illness may be eased by the way caregivers respond. In other words, these writers recognize what medicine has known for millennia, the paramount importance of concern for the sufferings and misfortunes of others. This means respecting the right of patients to make choices according to their values and understand how these values impact care decisions. It means having real and tested abilities to provide the uniquely human services that patients need, to go beyond probabilities to address uniquely human complexity. I mentioned earlier that the greats of medicine like Hippocrates and Osler would be amazed and disoriented by the changes taking place, but I believe they would be very comfortable with this part of my talk. Hippocrates is credited with having written, "It is more important to know what sort of person has a disease than to know what sort of disease a person has." And Osler has said that medicine is a science of uncertainty and an art of probability. I implore you, as you begin your careers, to be guided by the importance of sympathy and concern for the suffering and misfortunes of others, and to be steered by the principle that patients are your best teachers. This feeling of compassion will endure the test of time and serve you well in both your professional and personal lives, regardless of the changes coming down the pike. I wish all of you, on the threshold of such a promising future, a world filled by achievement, fulfillment, peace, and above all, compassion. As Maya Angelou has said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wortman, for sharing your very insightful comments. We really appreciate that. And now, we begin the conferral of degrees upon our class of 2018 students. I invite Vice President for Health Affairs and Dean of the College of Medicine, Dr. Elizabeth Young, to the podium to present the candidates for the Doctor of Medicine degree.
Students, faculty, parents, family, friends, and staff. As a NEOMED alumna, faculty member, and physician, I am truly honored to serve as your College of Medicine Dean. The practice of medicine is arguably the most human of all professions, yet paradoxically, the education of physicians is traditionally centered on the study of science rather than the human experience. The humanities, philosophy, literature, art, music, history, are foundationally studies of the human condition. And the physician-patient relationship is the essence of the study of the human condition. While scientific knowledge is ever-evolving and data-driven, the humanities, as applied in the physician-patient relationship, are timeless. The art of medicine, then, is the humanities in practice. So you all know I'm a storyteller, so I can't resist the urge to tell you the story of Sam, a patient I took care of over a long weekend while on call at hospice. I came to know Sam during a very brief moment in his life, but my deeper understanding of him came from the collective narrative of many who cared for him before. The story I'm going to tell you is my actual sign-out note written to a physician colleague. Sam is a 20-year-old young man who was diagnosed in 2011 with glioblastoma, an aggressive brain tumor. Unfortunately, he has a history of polycystic kidney disease, for which he had a kidney transplant at the age of 13. His dad was his kidney donor. Several years later, he was sick with an infection and treated with multiple antibiotics, which, according to Dad, killed the kidney, resulting in the need for hemodialysis since. So Sam is a spirited kid with two independently really bad medical problems: end-stage kidney disease and glioblastoma. He was transferred from the hospital late Friday night after it was decided to stop further hemodialysis. All the consultants have signed off his case. Sign-off from the hospital indicated that he was minimally responsive due to herniation from his brain tumor. Let me back up for a moment to his original hospital admission. 3 days ago, he was hospitalized with a non-operative pelvic fracture after sustaining a fall. At that time, he was alert, awake, and eating cheeseburgers, his favorite food. The next day, he went to dialysis, and something happened there which I can't entirely sort out. He got combative, pulled out his hemodialysis catheter, and had a seizure. Afterwards, when he returned to his room, he was minimally responsive, and Dad says he was suddenly told Sam had less than 2 days to live due to a probable brain herniation. A transfer to hospice was arranged. When I initially spoke with Dad, he said he felt forced into a hospice decision. In his words, he felt angry, frustrated, and confused because no one at the hospital seemed interested in sorting out what happened in dialysis. He was so distraught that he contemplated revoking hospice and transferring Sam to a Pittsburgh hospital. Now, you might wonder about Sam's mom in this story. Apparently, Mom walked out on the family 5 years ago, soon after Sam's diagnosis. She's intermittently been in touch with the family, but arrived on the scene with her new husband to cautiously remind Dad and the rest of the family of Sam's wish to be fully functional and not on any kind of life support, including hemodialysis. It's Sunday evening, and here's where we are. After some tortured conversation and hours of family time, they've decided to stay with hospice and not pursue hemodialysis or other aggressive therapy. This is a very complicated family, but they're united in their unwavering love of Sam. Dad seems to have found some sense of peace. Sam's 3 siblings are at the bedside telling stories, playing music, and rearranging the furniture to make room for sleeping bags and favorite photos. Sam is awake, comfortable, and seems relaxed. His oncologist and I think he'll likely die from his kidney failure before the glioblastoma. Take good care of him. He's a very special kid, but you've probably already figured that out. As physicians, we promote healing, we alleviate suffering, and we try to sustain human dignity. and a person's desire to live a life of meaning. Little or none of these critical functions lend themselves to empiric study. Yet Sam's story illustrates the universal experience of life, family, conflict, love, and suffering as the humanities in practice. Recognition of these elements of his life is as, if not more important, than his cancer and kidney failure. He's not defined by his diagnoses, but by the totality of his humanness. I hope and pray that my brief time with both Sam and his family helped them at a critical juncture when his potential for suffering, maintenance of dignity, as well as respect for his wishes, were entangled for a moment in the science of his diagnoses. As physicians, we all contemplate the meaning of life. How can it be avoided? From our first days of establishing trust with our silent cadavers to our first rectal exams, assuring the patient that this may be a little uncomfortable, to the first time we give a patient bad news. We join our humanness as physicians with the humanness of our patients, incorporating the science of medicine to help us make sense sometimes seemingly out of what feels like nonsense. My message to all of you: engage with and care for human life, for each and every day as a physician will be a study in the human condition. Thank you. The College of Medicine class of 2018 has selected the following exceptional faculty members to present their doctoral hoods. I ask that each individual stand as I call his or her name, and that you hold your applause until all have been introduced. Please join me in recognizing Dr. Julie Altman, Dr. Thomas Boniface, Dr. Thomas McAbobby, Dr. Bradley Moore Jr., Dr. Dana Peterson, Dr. Deborah Plate, Dr. Daniel Wasdal, and Dr. Altav Darvish. Drs. Boniface, McAbobby, and Moore are also graduates of our College of Medicine. Thank you. Please be seated. I would like to ask you to reflect on the qualities that distinguish the teachers you've chosen to present your hoods, attributes which I hope you strive to exemplify throughout your career. Finally, let me acknowledge the sacrifice, the joy, and on this special day, the pride of your family and friends. We believe the class of 2018 will keep us well, heal our ailments, and ultimately provide compassionate care for all human lives. It is my great pleasure and privilege to ask the members of the College of Medicine class of 2018 to stand, for President Gershon to approach the podium for the conferring of the degree of Doctor of Medicine, and for Dr. Sandra Emmerich, Chief Student Affairs Officer, to prepare to announce the names.
Members of the College of Medicine class of 2018, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and by the State of Ohio Department of Higher Education, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine with all the rights, the privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. On behalf of the administration, faculty, staff, and students, I offer you our warmest congratulations and very best wishes. You may be seated.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce the candidates for Doctor of Medicine degree. Dr. Rochelle Abdel-Noor. Dr. Abdel-Noor will begin an obstetrics gynecology residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Sama Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed will begin a psychiatry residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Laith Al-Bakri. Dr. Al-Bakri will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by diagnostic radiology at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Elizabeth Albers. Dr. Albers will begin her pediatrics residency at Akron Children's Hospital NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Aldrin El Puerto. Dr. El Puerto will begin a thoracic surgery residency with the University of Washington affiliated hospitals in Seattle, Washington. Dr. Nikki Amin. Dr. Amin begins a child neurology residency at Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Julie An. Dr. An will begin a transitional year residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by diagnostic radiology and research at the University of California, San Diego Medical Center in San Diego, California. Dr. Devin Arkanal. Dr. Arkanal will begin an emergency medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Grace Hayarndibu. Dr. Hayarndibu will begin a transitional year residency at St. Elizabeth Youngstown Hospital in Youngstown, Ohio, followed by dermatology at Eastern Virginia Medical School in Norfolk, Virginia. Dr. Gina Baclini. Dr. Baclini will begin a urology residency at San Antonio Military Medical Center in Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Dr. Kripa Balaram. Dr. Balaram will begin a psychiatry residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Vaishnavi Balarendaran. Dr. Balendaran will begin an ophthalmic pathology pre-residency fellowship at John A. Moran Eye Center at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, Utah. Dr. Banu Banda. Dr. Banda begins an emergency medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Banda is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. John Banowitz. Dr. Banowitz will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Emily Bay. Dr. Bay will begin a medicine psychiatry residency at the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston, South Carolina. Dr. Garrett Bendel. Dr. Bendel will begin an emergency medicine residency at Darnall Army Medical Center in Fort Hood, Texas. Dr. Evan Berlin. Dr. Berlin begins a physical medicine and rehabilitation residency at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Dr. Sharon Bernard. Dr. Bernard will begin a family medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Taryn Blaha. Dr. Blaha will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic, Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by dermatology at the University of Illinois College of Medicine in Chicago, Illinois. Dr. Carissa Bonnick. Dr. Bonnick begins a preliminary surgery residency, followed by ophthalmology at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Dr. Sarah Brown. Dr. Brown will begin a family medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Marcus Buckfellner. Dr. Buckfellner will begin a pediatrics residency at the University of South Florida Morsani College of Medicine in Tampa, Florida. Dr. Buckfellner is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Isabel Bueller. Dr. Bueller will begin her psychiatry residency at Tripler Army Medical Center in Tripler, AMC, Hawaii. Dr. Kaushik Chagarlamudi. Dr. Chagarlamudi will begin a transitional year residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by diagnostic radiology at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Nicole Shaheen. Dr. Shaheen will begin an internal medicine residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. John Chow. Dr. Chow will begin his integrated plastic surgery residency at the Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School in Newark, New Jersey. Dr. Neha Shavali. Dr. Shavali will begin an obstetrics gynecology residency at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit, Michigan. Dr. Hao Chi. Dr. Chi will begin an internal medicine residency at Icahn School of Medical Medicine, Beth Israel in New York, New York. Dr. Kara Chaffee. Dr. Chaffee will begin a family medicine residency at Fairview Hospital in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Lindsay Clark. Dr. Clark will begin a medicine primary care residency at the University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky. Dr. Tal Cohen. Dr. Cohen will begin his preliminary surgery residency, followed by urology at the Mayo Clinic School of Graduate Medical Education in Rochester, Minnesota. Dr. Parker Cole. Dr. Cole will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Western Reserve Health Education NEOMED in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Harrison Curry. Dr. Curry will begin his emergency medicine residency at St. Luke's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Dr. Mark Dolvin. Dr. Dolvin will begin a preliminary surgery residency at Western Reserve Health Education NEOMED in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Dolvin is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Daniel Delastrito. Dr. Delastrito will begin a general surgery residency at St. Elizabeth Youngstown Hospital in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Peter DeVito, Jr. Dr. DeVito will begin a vascular surgery residency at the University of Arizona College of Medicine in Tucson, Arizona. Dr. DeVito is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Robert Dohar. Dr. Dohar will begin an emergency medicine residency at the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. Dr. Kiera Dupuy. Dr. Dupuy will begin a family medicine residency at Washington Hospital in Washington, Pennsylvania. Dr. Timothy Edmonds. Dr. Edmonds will begin an anesthesiology residency at Montefiore Medical Center Einstein in the Bronx, New York. Dr. Anisa El-Hadi. Dr. El-Hadi will begin an anesthesiology critical care medicine perioperative leadership residency at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Michael Arasi. Dr. Arasi will begin an orthopedic surgery residency with the Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. David Farrow II. Dr. Farrow begins his psychiatry residency at Charleston Area Medical Center, West Virginia University in Charleston, West Virginia. Dr. Kathleen Fay. Dr. Fay begins a family medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Gregory Ferencik. Dr. Ferencik will begin a family medicine residency at Forbes Family Medical Center in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Dr. Chalin Fike. Dr. Fike will begin a family medicine residency at Altman Hospital NEOMED in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Brianna French. Dr. French will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Devika Gandhi. Dr. Gandhi will begin an internal medicine residency at the Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis, Indiana. Dr. Akansha Gunju. Dr. Gunju will begin an internal medicine residency at Riverside Methodist in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Amethyst Gauthier. Dr. Gauthier will begin a family medicine residency university track at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Gauthier is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Benjamin Jenko. Dr. Jenko will begin an emergency medicine residency at San Antonio Military Medical Center in Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Dr. Matthew Jenko. Dr. Jenko will begin an internal medicine residency at the University of Illinois College of Medicine in Chicago, Illinois. Dr. Marie Giroux. Dr. Giroux will begin a family medicine residency at Firelands Regional Medical Center in Sandusky, Ohio. Dr. Victoria Gevorgian. Dr. Gevorgian will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Huntington Memorial Hospital in Pasadena, California. Dr. Daniel Good. Dr. Good will begin an emergency medicine residency at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Andrew Gross. Dr. Gross will begin a preliminary medicine residency at St. Vincent Charity Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio, followed by radiation oncology at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Ibrahim Hassan. Dr. Hassan will begin an emergency medicine residency at Kendall Regional Medical Center in Miami, Florida. Dr. Benjamin Hazen. Dr. Hazen will begin a general surgery residency at Emory University School of Medicine in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Taylor Hendrix Johnson. Dr. Hendrix Johnson will begin her psychiatry residency at The Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Sarah Hill. Dr. Hill will begin her general surgery residency at the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. Dr. Brian Hum. Dr. Hum will begin an anesthesiology residency at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Alexandra Hauk. Dr. Hauk will begin a pediatrics residency at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Julie Yakulo. Dr. Yakulo will begin a preliminary medicine residency followed by dermatology at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Paul Ilkinich. Dr. Ilkinich will begin a physical medicine and rehabilitation residency at the University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky. Dr. Swathi Jalipali. Dr. Jalipali will begin an internal medicine residency at St. Joseph Mercy in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Dr. Justin Jones. Dr. Jones will begin his anesthesiology residency at the University of Vermont Medical Center in Burlington, Vermont. Dr. Nishok Karthikeyan. Dr. Karthikeyan will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Western Reserve Health Education, NEOMED, in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Terrence Kelly. Dr. Kelly is pursuing a family medicine residency. Dr. Hedi Khalifa. Dr. Khalifa will begin a transitional year residency at the University of Central Florida College of Medicine GME Consortium in Ocala, Florida. Dr. Salman Khan. Dr. Khan will begin his internal medicine residency at West Virginia University School of Medicine in Morgantown, West Virginia. Dr. Anshika Carey. Dr. Carey will begin an internal medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Jin-Soo Kim. Dr. Kim will begin an anesthesiology residency at Montefiore Medical Center Einstein in the Bronx, New York. Dr. Ian Klunk. Dr. Klunk begins a transitional year residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by diagnostic radiology at The Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Klunk is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Maria Knaus. Dr. Knaus will begin a general surgery residency at the University of Tennessee College of Medicine in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. Daniel Kogan. Dr. Kogan begins a preliminary medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by neurology at Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami, Florida. Dr. Sai Krishna Karada. Dr. Karada will begin an internal medicine residency at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Daniel Kriatsoulis. Dr. Kriatsoulis will begin a neurological surgery residency at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Kriatsoulis is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Vinay Krupadev. Dr. Krupadev will begin a medicine pediatrics residency at Tulane University School of Medicine in New Orleans, Louisiana. Dr. Krupadev is also receiving the Global Health Certificate. Dr. Elaine Kunzler. Dr. Kunzler begins a preliminary medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by dermatology at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Mario Leone. Dr. Leone will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Western Reserve Health Education NEOMED in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Jordan Lockhart. Dr. Lockhart will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Ahmad Maroof. Dr. Maroof will begin an emergency medicine residency. Dr. Maroof is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Leilani Mahi. Dr. Mahi will begin a psychiatry residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Cameron McCorkle. Dr. McCorkle will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Anna McLaughlin. Dr. McLaughlin will begin a family medicine residency at Fairview Hospital in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Shawn Mercer. Dr. Mercer will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Western Reserve Health Education NEOMED in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Mercer is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Andrew Mishler. Dr. Mishler will begin a transitional year residency at the Eisenhower Army Medical Center in Fort Gordon, Georgia. Dr. Yasmin Moftakar. Dr. Moftakar will begin an emergency medicine residency at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Michael Morales. Dr. Morales will begin an emergency medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Richard Newhart. Dr. Newhart will begin an anesthesiology residency at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Abhay Patel. Dr. Patel will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Dhruvesh Patel. Dr. Patel will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois, followed by anesthesiology at the New York University School of Medicine in New York, New York. Dr. Katherine Palicki. Dr. Palicki will begin a psychiatry residency at St. Elizabeth's Hospital with the Department of Behavioral Health in Washington, D.C. Dr. Christopher Pope. Dr. Pope will begin a family medicine residency at Mercy Memorial Hospital System in Monroe, Michigan. Dr. Charleston Powell. Dr. Powell will begin his internal medicine residency at Madigan Army Medical Center in Tacoma, Washington. Dr. Alexandra Power. Dr. Power will begin a preliminary surgery residency at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Alexander Prosanos. Dr. Prosanos will begin an integrated plastic surgery residency at Yale New Haven Hospital in New Haven, Connecticut. Dr. Bhavani Raja. Dr. Raja will begin her psychiatry residency at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Megan Reber. Dr. Reber will begin a family medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Shreya Reddy. Dr. Reddy will begin a family medicine residency university track at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Daniel Reddle. Dr. Retta will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Kyle Riley. Dr. Riley will begin his general surgery residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Darian Roberts. Dr. Roberts begins a family medicine residency at Grant Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Jessica Robertson. Dr. Robertson will begin a pathology residency at Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Jordan Ross. Dr. Ross begins an emergency medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Ryan Sankovic. Dr. Sankovic will begin a physical medicine and rehabilitation residency at Wayne State University School of Medicine in Detroit, Michigan. Dr. Brian Shatmeyer. Dr. Shatmeyer will begin a neurological surgery residency at the University of Kansas School of Medicine in Kansas City, Kansas. Dr. Abigail Schaub. Dr. Schaub will begin a pediatrics residency at Advocate Healthcare at Park Ridge, Illinois. Dr. Joel Shaxson. Dr. Shaxson will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Haiku Shah. Dr. Shah will begin her internal medicine residency with a leadership in medicine education pathway at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Shilpi Shah. Dr. Shah will begin an internal medicine residency at the University of Texas Medical School in Houston, Texas. Dr. Vimal Shenoy. Dr. Shenoy begins his emergency medicine residency at Baylor Scott and White Medical Center in Temple, Texas. Dr. Saloni Sheth. Dr. Sheth will begin a pediatrics residency at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Alyssa Sickle. Dr. Sickle will begin an obstetrics gynecology residency at Altman Hospital NEOMED in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Evita Singh. Dr. Singh will begin a psychiatry residency at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Jasmine Singh. Dr. Singh begins her neurology residency at Loyola Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Manveen Singh. Dr. Singh will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Brett Sizzler. Dr. Sizzler will begin an emergency medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic, Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Devin Smith. Dr. Smith will begin a transitional year residency at St. Elizabeth Youngstown Hospital in Youngstown, Ohio, followed by diagnostic radiology at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Darren Smucker. Dr. Smucker will begin a family medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Celine Soriano. Dr. Soriano will begin a general surgery residency at Virginia Mason Medical Center in Seattle, Washington. Dr. Shayna Spangler. Dr. Spangler will begin her emergency medicine residency at St. Elizabeth Health Center in Boardman, Ohio. Dr. Christopher Spolarich. Dr. Spilarich will begin an orthopedic surgery residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Philip Stokey. Dr. Stokey begins an orthopedic surgery residency at the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. Dr. Sibley Strader. Dr. Strader will begin a family medicine residency at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Nabiha Syed. Dr. Syed will begin a pediatrics residency at St. Louis University School of Medicine in St. Louis, Missouri. Dr. Bianca Tan. Dr. Tan begins her family medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Barberton, Ohio. Dr. Anissa Tatini. Dr. Tatini begins a transitional year residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by physical medicine and rehabilitation at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. Dr. Megan Teeples. Dr. Teeples will begin a transitional year residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by physical medicine and rehabilitation at the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. Dr. Kelly Thomas. Dr. Thomas will begin an emergency medicine residency at Wright State University Boonshoft School of Medicine in Dayton, Ohio. Dr. Richard Tinelli. Dr. Tinelli begins an internal medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Lucas Upperman. Dr. Upperman will begin an anesthesiology residency at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Bryant Van Leeuwen. Dr. Van Leeuwen will begin a preliminary surgery residency followed by urology at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha, Nebraska. Dr. Carolyn Vespoli. Dr. Vespoli will begin a pediatrics residency at Akron Children's Hospital NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Eric Westerbeck. Dr. Westerbeck will begin a preliminary medicine residency at Riverside Methodist in Columbus, Ohio, followed by physical medicine and rehabilitation at the Carolinas Medical Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Dr. Westerbeck is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Benjamin Iglesias. Dr. Iglesias will begin a preliminary surgery residency at Western Reserve Health Education NEOMED in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Nicholas Yurko. Dr. Yurko will begin a diagnostic radiology residency at Tripler Army Medical Center in Tripler, AMC, Hawaii. Dr. Andrew Zung. Dr. Zung begins a family medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio.
Will the graduates of the College of Medicine please rise? Please join me in welcoming Ohio's newest physicians, the NEOMED College of Medicine class of 2018. You may be seated. As new graduates, The students from the College of Medicine will carry on a tradition that was started many years ago at the university, that of a class oath. I'd like to call to the podium the members of the College of Medicine Class Oath Committee. Gina Palicki, Ian Klonk, Abhay Patel, Shreya Reddy.
We did it. On this day, we stand among all who have guided us in our pursuit of medical education. We are eternally grateful for the support and will hold it closely always. Now, we ask the College of Medicine class of 2018 and any physicians present today to please stand and join us in reading our class oath, which may be found on page 42 of the commencement booklet.
This oath is intended to guide us as we embark on our journeys in the clinical setting and into our future professional careers. As a member of the class of 2018, I hereby pledge that I will commit to being a lifelong student and strive to expand upon my scientific and clinical knowledge at every opportunity. I will humbly accept the limitations of my knowledge and embrace the guidance of my mentors to continue to develop my craft. I will approach every clinical encounter with sincerity and confidence in the experience that I have attained thus far. I will value the camaraderie amongst my colleagues and will strive to work together with our patients' best interests in mind. I will appreciate the privileges afforded to me within this profession and will deny any opportunities to abuse them. I will listen to, advocate for, and earn the trust of my patients while remaining grateful to them for serving as my teachers. I will seek to deliver the highest standard of care for those in need while placing the humanity of the patient above the science of the disease and will strive to do no harm. I will uphold the virtues of honesty, perseverance, competency, discipline, empathy, and compassion. I will act with the utmost grace and integrity that is required of me in this field and in my community. With this oath, I commit myself to the responsibilities and privileges of being a dedicated physician and provider in the field of medicine. I pledge to perform my duties with unyielding conviction in the hopes of providing meaningful care for my first patient to my last. I vow to honor the science of medicine and the art of healing as I embark on this journey before me.
Thank you, members of the College of Medicine Oath Committee. Please be seated. I'm now pleased to call upon my colleague, Dr. Richard Kasmer, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College of Pharmacy.
Thank you, Dr. Young. If there is one thing I would like all of you to know, especially our 71 graduating pharmacists, is that NEOMED pharmacists are helping to redefine a patient experience for which most are unaccustomed when they engage in filling or picking up prescriptions. Our pharmacists are trained to come from behind the counter, not to fill orders for customers, but to listen to the needs of their patients. Our pharmacists care that people are understood beyond the prescriptions that are written. Our pharmacists choose to be consultative rather than standing behind the counter. Our pharmacists were educated interprofessionally alongside medical students. that they have extensive clinical experience working with preceptors in many of the best pharmacies and clinical sites in the country. Our pharmacists are high performers who have exceeded national rates in testing, advanced their services through volunteering, and increased their knowledge through additional training, graduate studies, or opting for residencies. But none of that work matters if you don't achieve personal balance. So balance allows you to enhance interactions with patients, to engage them as people, not customers, whose human experiences are often similar to your own. So how does one achieve balance? We all have experiences or interests that either connect us, enabling us to find common ground, motivate us to do good, or just help us to be better listeners. In much the same way that your patient care transcends cultures, so does our human experiences. As a fellow pharmacist, I realize this as I engage others through my atypical practice experiences. 9 years in clinical pharmacy, 10 years in my own clinical research business, all the while using my diverse education as both a pharmacist and a lawyer, two disciplines that couldn't be more different to help achieve the correct outcomes. I also saw, as I became an educator, that I was particularly helpful with students, colleagues, and peers in all health professions who had some pretty common but significant enough events in their lives that, if not handled or managed properly, could lead to negative outcomes in their careers. Of course, my legal and professional backgrounds have given me some great experiences to draw from and help others understand the importance of embodying professionalism through one's actions and the consequences when one doesn't. While those experiences made me a better practitioner and educator, my values, caring, patience, and standards of treating others how I want to be treated are a result of who I am as a person, an outdoorsman. You see, I truly am a country boy in a city job. When asked what my favorite color is, I often tell people it's camo. I love hunting, camping, fishing, hiking, and I do it all with my family and my friends. From being an outdoorsman, I understand people's survival skills, or as some would say, defense mechanisms. The outdoors is where I get a great deal of my common sense and my ability to be proactive when situations are imminent. Through my love of the outdoors, I learned what it was like to have nothing, from access to communication, food, or even the most basic needs. I've also learned what's important, like spending time with family and being able to decompress. These are things that most everyone wants, and they're certainly things that we all need. As pharmacists, you'll see a diverse group of patients throughout the day, but how much do you really know about the person? What experiences can you pull from that will enable you to build trust and share perspectives can help them optimize their wellness? My diverse experiences impact who I am and how I make decisions. Because of those experiences, I learned to keep my door open to anyone who wants to walk in, and I'll come out to meet anyone who needs me to come their way. And like our students who have used telemedicine to connect with patients who might experience barriers such as transportation or mobility, I follow up with others to be sure they're okay. So as you make the transition to pharmacist and meet many who are accustomed to this patient-centered age of pharmacy, be sure to let them know you don't have to have a prescription. You can drop in just any time. Thank you. I would now like to introduce the faculty members who were selected by this year's class of graduates to serve as hooders in today's ceremony. They represent the world-class educators at NEOMED who strive each day to help students like you to become the best possible pharmacists. I ask that each individual stand as I call his or her name, and that you hold your applause until all have been introduced. Please join me in recognizing the following: Dr. Altaf Darvesh, Dr. Fadi Abdul Razul, Dr. Rihanna Gaudios, Dr. Jacqueline Boyle, Dr. Christopher Grider, and Professor Daniel Krinsky. Doctors Abdul Razul, Boyle, Godios, and Grider are also graduates of the NEOMED College of Pharmacy. It is my great pleasure and privilege to ask the graduates of the College of Pharmacy, class of 2018, to stand, and for President Gershon to approach the podium for the conferring of the Doctor of Pharmacy degree.
Members of the College of Pharmacy class of 2018, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and by the State of Ohio Department of Higher Education, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Pharmacy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. On behalf of the administration, faculty, staff, and students, I offer you our warmest congratulations and very best wishes. You may be seated.
Pleasure to present the candidates for Doctor of Pharmacy degree. Dr. Benjamin Ash. Dr. Ash will begin a pharmacy residency at Summa Health System in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Mohammed Ayub. Dr. Ayub will be pursuing a pharmacy position. Dr. Emma Beckman. Dr. Beckman will be joining CVS Health inside Target at Northeast Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Rebecca Berg. Dr. Berg will begin a pharmacy residency at Northeast Ohio Medical University Access Point in Ritztown, Ohio. Dr. Michelle Bezek. Dr. Bezek is pursuing a community pharmacy position. Dr. David Cares. Dr. Cares will be joining Genoa Pharmacy as a community pharmacist. Dr. Jennifer Carroll. Dr. Carroll will be joining Rite Aid in Sandusky, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Casey Castle. Dr. Castle will begin a pharmacy residency at University Hospital's St. John Medical Center in Westlake, Ohio. Dr. Leslie Chadden. Dr. Chadden will be pursuing a community or hospital pharmacy position in Northeast Ohio. Dr. Emma Coleman. Dr. Coleman will be joining Genoa Healthcare in Akron-Canton area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Coleman is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Kevin Ditchie. Dr. Ditchie will be joining Walgreens in Akron as a community pharmacist. Dr. Charles Dorflinger. Dr. Dorflinger will begin a pharmacy residency at VA Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Michael Duffy. Dr. Duffy will begin a pharmacy residency at the Centers for Families and Children in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Catherine Ellison. Dr. Ellison will be joining Mark's Pharmacy in Ravenna, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Taylor Engelhardt. Dr. Engelhardt will begin a pharmacy residency at Northeast Ohio Medical University Access Point in Ridgetown, Ohio. Dr. Daniel Featherston. Dr. Featherston will be pursuing a community pharmacy position in Northeast Ohio. Dr. Emmanuel Gebramariam. Dr. Gebramariam will be joining Walgreens Pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia as a community pharmacist. Dr. Zachary Gordon. Dr. Gordon will be joining Giant Eagle Pharmacy in Akron, Canton area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Frankie Ganera. Dr. Ganera will be joining Giant Eagle Pharmacy in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Christy Hartline. Dr. Hartline will be joining Rite Aid in the Sandusky, Lorraine area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Nicholas Herbst. Dr. Herbst will begin a pharmacy residency at Altman Hospital in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Jacqueline Hills. Dr. Hills will be joining Discount Drug Mart Pharmacy in Medina, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. John Homan. Dr. Homan is pursuing a hospital pharmacy position. Dr. Ashley Hunkus. Dr. Hunkus will be joining Mercy Health in Youngstown, Ohio as a hospital pharmacist. Dr. Kathleen Idris. Dr. Idris will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Dearborn Heights, Michigan as a community pharmacist. Dr. Terrence Johnson. Dr. Johnson is pursuing a pharmacy position. Dr. Trevor Jones. Dr. Jones will be joining Generations Behavioral Health in Youngstown, Ohio as a hospital pharmacist. Dr. Jessica Kelly. Dr. Kelly will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Ashley Clarich. Dr. Clarich joins the University Hospital's Geauga Medical Center in Chardon, Ohio as a pharmacy resident. Dr. Catherine Knutson. Dr. Knutson will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic Medina Hospital in Medina, Ohio. Dr. Stephanie Koppes. Dr. Koppes begins a pharmacy residency at Summa Health System in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Lauren Crutel. Dr. Crutel will be joining Rite Aid in Canton, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Nicholas Kazemchek. Dr. Kazemchek will be joining Rite Aid in Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Tao Law. Dr. Law will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Cale Lacey. Dr. Lacey will be joining Rite Aid in Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Andrew Liggett. Dr. Liggett will be pursuing a community pharmacy position in Northeast Ohio. Dr. Adriana Lombardi. Dr. Lombardi will begin a pharmacy residency at St. Vincent Evansville Hospital in Evansville, Indiana. Dr. Jason Lucas. Dr. Lucas will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Akron as a community pharmacist. Dr. Svetlana Lemkin. Dr. Lemkin will begin a pharmacy residency at University Hospitals in Warrensville Heights, Ohio. Dr. Jennifer McKay. Dr. McKay will begin a pharmacy residency at St. Elizabeth Youngstown Hospital in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Logan McLeod. Dr. McLeod will be joining Acme Pharmacy in Akron as a community pharmacist. Dr. Arkita Marisai. Dr. Marisai will be joining Walgreens Pharmacy in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Monica Metz. Dr. Metz will be joining Mark's Pharmacy in the Youngstown area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Andres Monsalvo Gomez. Dr. Monsalvo Gomez will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Columbus, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Kristen Newhouse. Dr. Newhouse will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Ross Newlove. Dr. Newlove will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Laura Nice. Dr. Nice will begin a pharmacy residency at the University of Louisville Hospital in Louisville, Kentucky. Dr. Carly Nicholson. Dr. Nicholson will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Vincent Notoreski. Dr. Notoreski will begin a pharmacy residency at Southwest General Health Center in Middleburg Heights, Ohio. Dr. Shawn Owens. Dr. Owens is joining Acme Pharmacy in Akron as a community pharmacist. Dr. Bria Patel. Dr. Patel will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Akron, Canton area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Sunny Patel. Dr. Patel will be pursuing a community pharmacy position in Northeast Ohio. Dr. Caitlin Patterson. Dr. Patterson begins a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic Fairview Hospital in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Brandy Poston. Dr. Poston will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic Medina Hospital in Medina, Ohio. Dr. Mayank Prasad. Dr. Prasad is joining Discount Drug Mart Pharmacy in the Akron, Cleveland area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Kara Reinhardt. Dr. Reinhardt will be joining Rite Aid in the Akron, Canton area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Richard Romanison, Jr. Dr. Romanison will begin a pharmacy residency at Mercy Health Regional Medical Center in Lorain, Ohio. Dr. Thomas Russo. Dr. Russo will begin a pharmacy residency at Alliance Community Hospital in Alliance, Ohio. Dr. Jordan Sampson. Dr. Sampson will be joining Richmond Pharmacy in Northeast Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Alicia Sandercock. Dr. Sandercock will be joining CVS Pharmacy in the Akron area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Murali Shah. Dr. Shah will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Shah is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Michael Shaw. Dr. Shaw will be joining Mark's Pharmacy in Fairlawn, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Sarah Schaus. Dr. Schaus will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic, Akron General in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Ahmad Sukar. Dr. Sukar will be joining Walgreens Pharmacy in Michigan as a community pharmacist. Dr. Jennifer Toth. Dr. Toth will be pursuing a PhD in pharmaceutical sciences and pharmacy administration at the University of Mississippi in Oxford, Mississippi. Dr. Molly Triner. Dr. Triner will begin a pharmacy residency at Mercy Medical Center in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Jessica Walentinowicz. Dr. Walentinowicz will be pursuing a career in clinical pharmacy. Dr. Alan Walkama. Dr. Walkama will begin her pharmacy residency at Summa Health System in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Brennan Wallace. Dr. Wallace is joining CVS Pharmacy in Columbus, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Kelly Wasco. Kelsey Wasco. Dr. Wasco is pursuing a pharmacy position. Dr. Stephanie Winnell. Dr. Winnell will begin a pharmacy residency at the University of Toledo Medical Center in Toledo, Ohio.
Will the graduates of the College of Pharmacy please rise? Please join me in welcoming Ohio's newest pharmacist, the College of Pharmacy class of 2018. Students from the College of Pharmacy will also carry on the tradition of a class oath. I would like to now call to the podium the members of the College of Pharmacy Class of 2018 Oath Committee. Taylor Engelhardt, Nicholas Herbst, Stephanie Koppas, Jennifer McKay, and Ross Newlove.
As graduates of the College of Pharmacy Class of 2018, we are excited for the future and thank all of you who have helped us to achieve our goals. Members of the College of Pharmacy Class of 2018 and any pharmacist present today, please stand and recite the oath with us in unison. The pharmacy oath can be found on page 61 of the commencement booklet.
I promise to devote myself to a lifetime of learning, mentorship, and service to others through the profession of pharmacy. In fulfilling this vow, I will use my knowledge and skills to provide care to my patients and compassion to provide care for my patients. I will express empathy towards my patients and their families. I will practice at the top of my license while remaining kind and humble. I will continue to grow through the pursuit of knowledge to remain proficient during my career. I will practice with honor and integrity and be guided by what is right, true, fair, and good. I will advocate for the advancement of my profession in order to provide innovative, safe, and effective care for my patients. I will serve as a mentor to future pharmacists through guidance and encouragement while remembering those who mentored me. I will always remember that each patient has their own story and use this to guide their care. I will always be there for my peers as they have been there for me. I acknowledge and accept these responsibilities of the profession of pharmacy as I stand before my family, friends, and colleagues.
Thank you to the members of the College of Pharmacy Oath Committee. I'm now pleased to call upon my colleague, Dr. Stephen Schmidt, Vice President for Research and Dean of the College of Graduate Studies.
Thank you, Dr. Kasmer. Congratulations to our graduates of Health System Pharmacy Administration, Integrated Pharmaceutical Medicine, and Public Health. The work to which you have committed through your graduate training is pivotal to our wellness as you engage in advancing research, optimizing systems, and addressing health concerns that affect all of us. We have 6 programs in the College of Graduate Studies, and because enhancing wellness is a team effort, many want to know how they can help beyond providing care. I'm often questioned about NEOMED's Master of Arts in Medical Ethics and Humanities, with many simply wanting to know, why is this important? Why is it important at NEOMED? Perhaps I get this question because this is our newest program, and in fact, we will confer our first degrees in this program next year. Or perhaps there's just curiosity about what is meant by medical humanities. Whatever the reasons, the evidence is all around us that in order for health professionals to put their rigorous training into practice, they have to obtain the facts needed through truthful conversations and understanding the circumstances of one's life. And an ethical framework through introspection and reflection is necessary to be able to engage those in need thoughtfully and holistically. Many of you have been provided with the necessary skills, knowledge, and tools to understand and value persons, their relationships with others and themselves, their environment, and all that touches their being. I used the word persons because we look beyond labels such as customer, employee, patient, or provider, and into the contexts or the stories of people and what connects each of us in meaningful ways. In doing this, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable, and that can be frightening. Some of us have this ability naturally, but others have a life-changing event that forces us to face situations that are common to all of us. I had such a moment. In the recovery room following knee replacement surgery a few years ago, I had a stroke. The stroke made me realize that minimally, I needed at least one day of sanity each week in my world to enjoy life and appreciate others. So I decided to take a day each week to babysit my granddaughters, who are now 5 and 2 years old. As you can imagine, some days those are days of insanity and not sanity. And while my reasons initially may have been because the event of having the stroke scared me, these Papa Fridays, as they are called by my girls, helped me to relearn about the wonder in the world. It also helped me understand how others might feel, those who've lost that wonder due to illness concerns for themselves or for loved ones, as well as those whose life circumstances never afforded them a chance to wonder. While it took that experience for me to learn and be open to new experiences, those moments are actually teachable through the humanities. Our pedagogical approaches have prepared our graduate studies professionals to address contemporary issues in complex health systems, to tackle public health concerns, and to investigate development of drug entities for the benefit of public health. And our curricula have given others literature, film, art, peer-reviewed readings, and stories for which they can observe, learn, and reflect. But it is your ability to get beyond the single side of a story through discussion and engagement into a deeper dive about persons and issues that makes you all human, including your own biases. Caring, serving, and leading is a narrative that requires us to have a clear understanding of our own narratives, our own biases, values, and perspectives, to be fully conscious of what we bring to human interaction. It also requires competence in receiving, honoring, and broadly understanding the particular narrative of those with whom we interact. As you are graduate students now advance in public health, pharmacy administration, pharmaceutical medicine, and others of you advance in medicine and pharmacy, all will better understand how your work and study during these past few years will aid in a better understanding of persons and their circumstances. Such stories connect humanity, and they are themselves a practice. You are well prepared to refine that practice to get a better sense of who you will be as health professionals, researchers, educators, and administrators. And don't forget your day of sanity or your day of insanity, as it may be yours and yours alone. It ultimately benefits so many others. To all of our graduates of 2018, thank you. At this time, I ask the graduates of the Master of Public Health and the Master of Science in Health System Pharmacy Administration to stand, and for President Gershon to approach the podium for conferring the master's degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and by the State of Ohio Department of Higher Education, I confer upon you the master's degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. On behalf of the administration, faculty, staff, and students, I offer you our warmest congratulations and our very best wishes.
Receiving the Master of Public Health degree, Maureen Loftus. Receiving the Master of Science degree in Health System Pharmacy Administration, Dr. Katherine Carlson. Dr. Tina Doe. Dr. Ashley Ramp.
Please join me in welcoming Ohio's newest health professionals from the College of Graduate Studies graduating class of 2018. Please be seated.
At this time, we are pleased to honor 8 of our students who plan to immediately use their skills in medicine to serve as officers in our country's armed forces. We invite Dr. Gina Backlinley, Dr. Garrett Bendel, Dr. Isabel Bueller, Dr. Benjamin Jenko, Dr. Andrew Mishler, Dr. Charleston Powell, and Dr. Nicholas D. Yurko, all from the U.S. Army, and Dr. Benjamin Hazen of the U.S. Air Force to join us on stage in their military dress uniforms. They will be joined by Captain David Hilden, Medical Services Corps Officer in Charge, Cleveland Akron Army Medical Recruiting. He will conduct the United States Armed Forces ceremony while members of their families assist with the pinning of these officers.
Right face. Would the family members pinning the rank please come out? Service members, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Having been appointed an officer in the Armed Forces of the United States. In the rank of captain. Do solemnly swear. That I will support and defend the Constitution. Of the United States. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservations. Or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge. The duties of the office. Upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. At this point, please lower your hands. Would the family members pinning on the rank please pin their service member at this time?
Congratulations to our officers serving our country in the United States Armed Forces.
Thank you to the family members. You may now recover. Family members, thank you. You may exit stage right. Group attention. Right face. Forward march.
As you may know, May is National Military Appreciation Month, and the third Saturday in May, which happens to be today, is Armed Forces Day. Will all current and former members of the U.S. Armed Forces please stand if you're able? We want to thank you for all your patriotic service and support of our country. Please be seated. Please welcome the president of the NEOMED Alumni Association and a graduate of the class of 1984, Dr. Mark Hostetler, who will officially welcome graduates to our alumni family.
Welcome, class of 2018. As a proud graduate of the fourth class, 1984, of Northeast Ohio Medical University, I can tell you firsthand of how great it is to be part of such a young alumni association. Though most of us are from and returned to Northeast Ohio, NEOMED alumni hail from many places and now reside in every state in the country. We work for many of the nation's best systems, and we often serve in leadership positions. We're engaged in patient-centered care in the communities in which we live and work, and we're proactive in advancing the health sciences at Northeast Ohio Medical University. Congratulations, fellow alumni, as you join a very select group. You're now a member of the NEOMED alumni community of over 4,352 healthcare professionals. I know you'll make us all proud in your endeavors as successful administrators, educators, practitioners, and researchers. NEOMED alumni can be found practicing in more than 50 fields of healthcare. No matter what disciplines we choose, our experiences play a role in understanding the circumstances of others. For me, my experiences led me to a personalized approach to healthcare delivery that focuses on the patient as a unique individual with needs that vary broadly, as determined by their individual heritage and past experiences. And my personal love of culture, my friends will tell you, food, theater, the arts, and world travel, helped me to better understand the human experience. As alumni, we reconnect all over the country to share our experiences. Last year, we even traveled together to Europe. So make good use of your connections through the Alumni Association, and you'll have thousands of second and third degree connections in which to share experiences, best practices, methods, and research. So now that you've earned the right to join our alumni community, let's make it official. Please move your tassels from the right side to the left side. You are now all graduates of Northeast Ohio Medical University. I'd invite you to stand, turn, face your family and friends, and receive their congratulations and warm applause.
Thank you, Dr. Hosteller. Please be seated. Before concluding today's ceremony, I would like to recognize the family members and loved ones of our graduates who have contributed to this happy occasion in so many ways. Graduates, let's give a fine round of applause and appreciation to the parents, family members, friends, and loved ones who supported you during this journey. Today, we salute 144 College of Medicine graduates who will move on to some of the best hospitals in the nation. 58% of these students chose hospitals in Ohio. We also celebrate 71 College of Pharmacy graduates. Most of these pharmacists will go directly into practice, and 24 of them have chosen to be pharmacists in residencies first, the largest group of NEOMED fourth-year pharmacy students to ever match for residency. 6 students graduated from our College of Graduate Studies today. Programs in this college will continue to grow as enhancing knowledge in drug development, systems management, public health, as well as ethics and humanities, has proven to be beneficial to researchers, administrators, and educators, as well as to providers and patients. As NEOMED launches our new 5-year strategic plan, we will continue to advance as a health sciences university. We will assure excellence and growth of our academic programs. We will strengthen our high-impact research. We will engage in transformative relationships with our clinical and university partners, and we will build institutional vitality and sustainability. As we recognize and congratulate our class of 2018, you have advanced to become doctors of medicine and doctors of pharmacy, and masters of health systems, pharmacy administration, pharmaceutical medicine, and public health. We all shine today because of you, and the patient experience will improve tomorrow because of you. This moment deserves continued celebration, so I invite all of you to join us at a reception that will be held immediately following the recessional in the Goodrich and Robertson lobbies. We ask that our guests remain seated for the recessional. The graduates will first proceed to a closed location for group photos, and will join the families for the reception directly thereafter. And now, as we begin the recessional, I ask that all graduates, faculty, stage party members please stand, and members of the audience please remain seated until all members of the stage party, faculty, and graduates have left the auditorium. Thank you very much.